Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Glad you're here. And we're going to talk about pinned posts on Instagram. Have you seen them? Y'all, I love them. And there's a reason why you should love them too, or at least use them. On a recent Insider Mentorship Group coaching call, the question was asked about pinned posts and the most effective way to utilize this new feature. Now, if you're just hearing about Instagram pinned posts and don't know what they are, it just means basically featuring a post at the top of your Instagram feed until you decide to unpin or switch it out with another post. Simply long press on an image and a menu will appear, and you can select to pin a post or a reel. If you ever want to unpin it, simply long press again. At the time of this recording, up to 3 pins are allowed, but as we all know, that could change because we know Instagram loves to change the rules on us. That's why I'm here with this podcast to explain simply and briefly what to do next for your Instagram and email marketing. So during this group coaching call, I gave my best advice on how to use pinned posts effectively, when you should switch them out, and how many to use. You'll also hear about a strategy I've been using to gain more traction on my own posts, plus how to display your grid so it looks like a portfolio of your services. I'll also clue you in on a scheduling software I've been using. It's kind of a fix it and forget it to repurpose your content for a whole year. Speaking of pinned posts, this is the perfect opportunity to share about our 30-day Simply Stories challenge in October, starting October 3rd. For 30 days, you simply post in stories. If you already know that you need to work on your stories, foster community, or gain strategy, or even just get started using this powerful avenue on Instagram, now is the time to jump in. And you can use pinned posts in conjunction with this challenge. I'll share more about it at the end of the show and link the sign up in the show notes. And now, listen in.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over glamour so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
So I've read a couple of differing opinions about whether to have 3 pinned or just 2 so that your current post is always showing on the top. Do you have an opinion about that?
I have an opinion after really fooling around with it, trial and error. I noticed that if I have, so basically in a nutshell, whatever my most recent post is, if I really want traction on it, whether it's real or not, I pin it. It goes first because that's what I want people to comment on. Mm-hmm. The other 2, I always have 3 because I just like that. I like that option. The other one is always what the podcast lineup is for the month. And then I know Amber, you could do that easy. Mm-hmm. Always do that podcast lineup. And then the other one is usually just something else that's recent that I want traction for. Last week was launch week, so everything was about that. And the podcast lineup kind of went to the wayside until after that. And then it went right back up to the top.
Well,
so
I noticed
if you don't have that recent, if you want your recent post to gain traction, right away pin it.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that I did one carousel post that tells exactly explicit instructions on, what the theorem method is, how how to do it, the whole basic program. So are they pushing pinned post out? I still get feedback on that.
You're still getting feedback
comments
on your
that
pinned post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they are, but I also think they're pushing out recent posts too. It's interesting to see. And something else I have tried that you guys might want to, and I'm going to take more questions in a minute. You guys might try this. I have a scheduling software that I bought 100 years ago from AppSumo that is called Missing Letter. And whenever a post of mine goes out, I get an email to approve like 12 posts in a year. And they go out at 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, the next month, and then so forth out through the year. And I can schedule those out as I want. I can write the captions. I can select the images, and then it just goes. So I hadn't used that for a couple years, and I decided to go ahead and start using it again. So every once in a while, I get a random post out there that I just forgot about. I didn't know it was going to run. And then I start seeing all these clicks and comments and likes and things. And I'm like, what is that? Do I really want people to comment on that today? But what I found is if I can make that post go live about an hour to 30 minutes before what I really want people to comment on, which is going to be a reel or an important post, a lot of times that reel or post will get even more traction because I just posted recently. It's a trial and error thing, but I do notice that the more you post, the more Instagram pushes your stuff out there. And we can't just post all the time. But if you have a scheduling app like Missing Letter that is just, taking out something that you only entered once for the whole 12 months, it's worth it. So if anybody has an interest in that, I can get you the link to sign up for that. I think it was $39 for me. It comes on sale every once in a while. How often should we change our pinned post? You need to keep track of your pinned posts and what they are, and make sure that when you post a new post or reel that you want people to comment on, that you go ahead and make that a pinned post. Because a lot of times I have some core people that I almost always comment on their post or they comment on mine because we go back like 1,000 years and we're trying to support each other. And so if she comments on mine and I go to her account and I see the pinned post and I'm like, wait, I already saw those, I already did those, then I have to hunt for her most recent post. People aren't going to do that if they're, wanting to come and support you and support your most recent post. So that's why I advise your recent post get pinned. And then the other two posts need to be, just kind of evergreen stuff or stuff that it's a recent sale, or it is a launch right now, or it is something that is going on this month or this week, like my podcast lineup for August. Makes sense? I love the pinned posts. Now, here's an idea some people have been talking about, and that is if you decide you want to take a break from Instagram, then you make sure that your last 9 posts are targeted towards your own business. Like say you want to take 3 months off, then you could archive things, move things around, and make sure your last 9 posts are really, they go to your email list, they go to your sales site, they go to your website, whatever. And then you want to make the 3 pinned posts the most important. It kind of makes it a little easy. And then you take your Instagram URL, your profile URL, and share that in places. We recently did an episode on when to take a break from Instagram, actually at the beginning of summer 22, episode 38, when to take a break from Instagram. And arranging your grid as I just described to these gals on the call, getting it prepped for that break would be an ideal way to leave it. So if people run across your Instagram account, they can see what you do, and it will be helpful to have that kind of as a business portfolio. A one sheet, if you will, description of your services, products, book, podcast, definitely your newsletter opt-in, kind of like an expanded business card. Then when people want to know what you do, you can have that account URL ready to give them, and they can read a great summary of your offerings. It might be nice to go ahead and experiment with that even and use it as your regular grid layout. So if you need to step away or something happens that you can't post, your account is still seamless and sharing the most important parts of your business. And you can use pinned posts as your top 3 offerings. That's pretty cool, huh? Now that I've shared how to use pinned posts, I want to reiterate again that you can use this strategy while taking a break. And frankly, I'm noticing Insta fatigue everywhere. People are tired of fighting the algorithm as views have dropped again on Reels since August. If you're tired of feeling like a content mill and ready to simplify your posting process without losing followers or your sanity, why not hop in on our 30-day Simply Stories challenge starting October 3rd? By doing stories for 30 days, you will learn why Instagram stories are still key to client conversions, how to create engaging, even entertaining stories that represent your voice, intrigue followers to get to know you, and cultivate community. You'll also learn 5 proven ways non-followers discover you through stories. This is a checklist you get upon joining the challenge right away. You'll learn how to be wise on the Instagram app and not lose track of time, using stories in just 10 to 20 minutes a day, and a smart way to get more eyes on your posts, even though you're only using stories. We're calling it Fall Back in Love with Instagram, or at least get your groove on in stories. I love stories, and through the challenge, I think you'll come to love them too and see the value they deliver. Plus, here's an extra tip. You'll have Reels content going forward. That's just a little sneak peek. Check out the 30-day Simply Stories challenge in our show notes or on Instagram at Authentic Online Marketing Pod in our link in bio. And don't forget to use your pinned posts going forward. Until next week, remember to share your message, your unique way, in your own authentic voice.